Awesome. So you just need 2 yoga blocks, a blanket. We're going to start flowing through some movements, and then at about the 30-minute mark, we'll move into 4 restorative poses and finish with Shavasana. That's the plan for today. Okay. And this week I want to give you a yoga practice that uses 2 blocks, and then on Thursday we'll do a yoga practice that uses a blanket. That way when you're traveling over the holidays, you've got last month's classes and this month's classes that are very low in prop need, so you can travel with stuff to support yourself. Okay, so we're going to come on to hands and knees. Hands are going to be on the yoga blocks, which shifts some of our weight back into our legs a little bit more. And just kind of wiggle and waggle yourself here. Feel where your weight is distributed through your 4 limbs. And then we're going to bring our attention to our butthole. And we're going to take our butthole towards the ground, which will start to arch around our low back, our mid back, and then we're going to take the top of our head towards the floor. Now we're going to leave the top of our head towards the ground and keep our mid back rounded, and we're going to start to take the butthole from the floor up the wall behind us, which will start to arch the low back, mid back, breastbone lifts, top of the head lifts to the ceiling. So now we're arched. So let's round again, butthole towards the floor. Finishing with the crown of the head. And then we're going to take the butthole up the wall behind us, arching the low back, mid back, chest lifts, crown of the head to the ceiling. We'll do that one more time, just moving through sequentially, cat-cow, from one end to the other end. Once you are rounded, we're going to take the hips back towards the heels, press the palms into those blocks so that you feel some activity come to the arms, the armpits, into the bat wings or like the lats along either side of the back rib cage. Okay, keep pressing into the blocks, and as if you're kind of pulling the blocks towards you. And you're going to take the top of the head and the butthole up towards the ceiling, arching the back once we're in hands and knees again. And again, round, drop the hips towards the heels, press the hands into the blocks. Nice inhale here. And then as you exhale, again, start to arch the back, butthole on top of the head, go to the ceiling, press down into the blocks. Chest nice and lifted. One more time round. Drop the hips towards the heels. Press palms into the blocks. And then we're going to come to hands and knees. Tuck the toes under. And we're going to pitch the hips back up to the ceiling, coming into a down dog with the hands on the blocks. Really reach into the blocks. Keep the knees bent and focus on movement at the hip joint. So the pelvis and the leg, and length from butthole to the top of the head. And then we're just going to pedal and shift our weight side to side, even lift each foot and lower it to the ground. Almost like a cat, you know, when they knead biscuits or make biscuits. That kind of action with our feet, just stepping from place to place on the mat. The heel might come to the ground. The knee might straighten, they might not. And then settle those feet in place one more time. Reach with those arms, get as long as you can from the fingertips out through the butthole. Long, long, long. And then we're going to lower the knees to the floor. Take the blocks in our hands and come up into tall kneeling here. Okay, in tall kneeling, we're going to reach one block to the floor, and reach one block up to the ceiling. And then we'll switch sides. Block reaches to the floor, the other block reaches straight up to the ceiling. So we want to create a push into that block on the ground and a reach and push up into that block towards the ceiling. We'll do that one more time. This time that block overhead, let it reach and side bend you a little bit. So you're going to take and roll to one side and then come up, reach that block into the ground, roll over towards the other side. Make it feel like a yawn. Okay, then we're going to come through center, set one block to the side. Bring the other block up behind our head. So we've got our head framed by our biceps and forearms. Elbows are forward. And we're going to side bend over one side. Okay, come back up to center. So find weight in both legs here. And we're not going to lose weight and a reach into the side that we side bend away from. So you could focus on the side bend, or maybe it's a reach and a length through that side that we're bending away from, and you're going to step a leg forward. So it's the bend that allows, so we can't shift our weight off that long side or we won't be able to step the leg forward. Okay, so slow it down, find the side bend, that's the side that steps. That's the side that steps. That's the side that steps. Okay, get a feel for that. The next time we step forward, we're going to pause there, bring that block down onto the inside of the foot. The opposite hand is going to reach it. We're going to take that front leg arm, reach it back, pinky towards the ceiling, then let it swing forward, thumb to the ceiling. Let it swing back, let it swing forward. Let it swing back, let it swing forward. So see if you can really relax the arm to allow the drop to happen. The next time it swings back, turn the palm, thumb to the ceiling, reach up to the ceiling. That front leg, think of yawing that thigh or rolling that thigh towards midline or towards that opposite arm, elbow. I'm going to bring that hand down, reaching that block towards that front leg. We've got to shift our weight onto that front leg, tuck the back toes under, and get yourself up on that front leg. And we're going to bring ourselves up. Weight is through that front leg. That hip is extending. We'll rise up, then we're going to slouch down again. This time, once we slouch down, shift the weight so it's in both legs. So we're in more of a pyramid pose. And then we're going to take that block in the hand and reach it forward and inside towards that front corner of the mat. Press through the legs, press through that block. Hand can come to the hip. We're coming into triangle. Create that reach out into that block. Bring that arm down, drop that knee, come back onto both knees, both blocks come forward, back rounds, hips drop to the heels. Reach those arms. Don't worry about pressing into them. Couple of breaths here. And then we'll cycle through again. Any questions on anything in that sequence? Okay, we'll run through it again. If you do, you can unmute yourself. Otherwise, we'll thumbs up. Okay. Good, good. Okay. So from hips back, we're gonna come up to all fours and move into our downward dog. Lift it up. You can pedal the feet out, or you can just reach. Think we're going long from fingertips, crown of the head, out through the butthole. So we're not worried about pushing the heels to the ground so much as that length through the torso, head to bottom, fingers to bottom. We're going to come down onto the knees, tall kneeling, reach and a press. You can go right into that side bend. Play with the block and your fingers and find the orientation that really lets you kind of reach and fold in these ribs and get long from the knee out to the fingers on that long side. And then we'll switch. We want to be able to create a press and a reach through that side bending side, and a reach and length through that other side. Some of us might find that hand needs to be more in front, that we can see it out of the peripheral rather than being in line here. They get a better stretch around the outer hip and a sense of being able to stay reaching down. So play with what you do and where you place your blocks here. Play with where your gaze goes. Okay, then we're going to take one block behind the head, biceps, forearms framing the face, elbows reaching forward. We're going to create a bend, and that has us step forward. So we kind of coil up on one side and step, and we're long on the other side. Again, play with the reach and the dynamics of the elbows for you. So that it feels like you're not kind of unbalanced through the hips as you step that leg through. Okay? Next time we step that leg through, we're going to place the block in front. So make sure you're on your opposite leg as we were last time. We're going to push our weight into that front leg, round through the spine, and pitch the hips forward in space to bring us up. Then we're going to slouch back down. Bring that back knee to the floor. Hand finds that block, and we're going to reach the pinky behind. Let it swing forward to the ceiling in front. If your up leg is in front, you might find you've got to be a little narrower than train tracks to stay in balance here. Next time that hand reaches back, turn the palm forward, reach up to the ceiling. Think of yawing or rolling that front thigh in. Good, release that arm down, holding and pressing into that block. We're going to pitch both knees back, finding us in a pyramid pose. And then we're going to take the hand of the front leg is going to hold that block, reach it on an angle, press, making space for us to turn ourselves into triangle pose. Bring that hand back, that knee to the floor, both knees back. Find yourself into rounded back child's pose, arms reached out long. So we're going to flow through one more time on each side, and then we'll settle into our restorative sequence and Shavasana. Well, let's stay here for a couple, 3, 4 more breaths. We could also take those arms and take those blocks back by the ankles, then place the back of the hands on them. Crown of the head bows to the floor. You'll find the hips have to lift off the heels in order to seesaw the top of the head to the floor. Wherever those blocks are, find them their way back to the front of the mat. Come into hands and knees, tuck the toes under, pitch the hips up towards the ceiling. Reach, reach, reach out of those hands. Again, you could pedal those feet. You could step those feet around. Heels might come to the ground, they might not. You could just stay in stillness, thinking about pressing, pressing, pressing into those blocks. Exhale, knees are going to drop. Holding the blocks, we're going to find our way into tall kneeling. One block reaches up. One block reaches down. We're going to go to each side twice. Take your time, take an inhale and exhale once you get into that side bend. Really focus on the ribs on the one side. They've got to fold in and out of the way for us to get long on the other side. So we could use our block in at the side to help those ribs fold. Setting one block to the side. We're going to take the other behind the head. And actually take it on top of the head. So some of us, it's going to work better back here. Some of us, it's going to work better on top. Some of us, it actually might work better on the side. So on this round, just kind of play with where the block is and creating that bend that has you feel like it helps the smoothness to which you can reach that leg and step it forward. It might be that you take the block and it comes to the inside or the outside of the front knee. But you'll notice one side hip, knee to shoulder gets long and the other side gets short. And the footsteps on the side that coils or that we side bend towards. Okay, once that leg comes forward, we're going to set that block inside. Reach that arm back, turn the palm. Let the arm drop down. Let's reach the arm back, turn the palm, let that arm fall. One last time, reach the arm back, up, let the arm fall. And then tuck the back toes under. This is where we're going to slouch, extending or pitching the hip, the top of the thigh forward to bring you up. And then pitch that thigh back to slouch you back down. Once the block comes to the floor, you're going to plant both feet, bringing you up into pyramid pose. Then we're going to reach with that same arm as the front leg. That block's going to reach forward, press, so that we can turn ourselves into triangle pose, giving that spine length to be able to rotate. Gaze can be wherever, down at the floor, center of the room, up to that top arm. Bring it down. Let's bend that knee. Find your way to child's pose. Wherever the block works for you. As you're breathing here, maybe you're noticing movement or space with the inhale that was different from 25 minutes ago. Okay, with your next exhale, those blocks are going to come to the top of the mat. We're going to tuck the toes under and pitch the knees back, hips back, coming into a downward dog. Again, you can pedal the legs or hang out here. With your next exhale, knees come to the floor. Tall kneeling. Reach to the ground, reach to the sky. 2 times each side. You can play with where the reach happens with the arms. Find the line of reach, the direction that connects you into really feeling the change in shape in your rib cage with this side bend or side roll. Okay, next time through center, I'm going to pause. We just need one block and either work with it behind the head or where you found last time that it works for you to create that side bend, and that's our leg that steps forward. Couple of 3 times with each leg, that you don't have to hold the breath. Next time the other leg comes forward, so one side will do 4, one side will do 3. We're going to place that block inside, sweep the arm back, palm to the center. If we need to shift the hips back to make space for the spine, do that. If we need to shift the hips forward to make space for your spine, do that. So as you reach the arm, we've got to have space for that spine to yaw. And we're going to tuck the back toes under, shift the weight into that front leg. Let the front thigh pitch forward to bring you up, and then we're going to pitch it back As we round down, find the back heel to the floor, pyramid pose. Whatever arm is the same as that front leg, it's going to reach forward on a diagonal with that block, coming into triangle. Pitch both knees to the ground. Find your way into our last child's pose. Couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, we're going to transition onto your back. Have your blocks handy.